Hi, Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Thank you for watching this channel, zani4e.com channel. And in this video, I would like to share about another one exciting subject that has been I've been waiting personally, not only me, but many parties who are involved in the energy efficiency industry in Malaysia, stakeholders and all of them, about the very good announcement, very exciting announcement made by the Yang Berhormat Minister of Energy somewhere in I think in 30th of November, okay, November 2021. The topic today is about the government, okay, will table at the Parliament in 2022 the new Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act. Okay, as someone who has been in this industry for the past almost 20 over years, this is something that has been long overdue. Okay, personally, I have involved in some process, some stages towards this personally. Okay, actually, the idea to have this act specifically on the energy efficiency and conservation for Malaysia has been highlighted, has been promoted, has been pushed many years ago. Okay, and then somehow, due to some, I don't know what's the factor, some other factor, it's been keep delayed, over time. In fact, one of this is to have this Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act for Malaysia has been one. Okay, it is one of the recommendation in the first study that I personally was involved in 2011. Okay, 2011. Okay, 2011. Okay, when I was still a government, one of the recommendation in that they call it at that time National Energy Efficiency Master Plan Study. One of the recommendation, we need to have this energy efficiency and conservation law for Malaysia that must cover not only electrical, also will cover thermal energy. And finally, okay, and somehow the law was drafted. Okay, this act, has been drafted in 2011. Okay, started the drafting in 2011. However, due to unknown reason, it was stopped in 2012. Okay, and then it was decided again by the ministry. Okay, in 2018, and then to redraft this act. Okay, this Adjacency and Conservation Act for Malaysia, and I was personally involved. Okay, and finally, I think in 2019, it was announced by the previous minister about somehow the cabinet has approved to table this law, this act to the cabinet, to the parliament in 2019. I think after that, all of us aware that after some political changes in Malaysia, all right, somehow that caused the delay. Plus, what happened and then the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic came, and then all being delayed. Doesn't matter. Okay, past is past. I just to give you some perspective, precursor to this. Okay, now I'm excited, that finally, hopefully this time no more delay, inshallah. So in 2022, the minister has announced it, okay, in 30th of November that this Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act, for Malaysia, that I know it will cover electrical and thermal energy will be tabled to the parliament, okay, for the approval in 2021. If I'm not mistaken, it should be the first parliamentary sitting in 2022. Okay, 2022, next year. Now actually it's December 2021. So I'm excited. Okay, but in the same time, okay, I would expect, as like any other law before, there'll be some grace period involved upon the approval of the, let's say, if the act approved at the parliament, okay, the bill approved at the parliament, take some time to be enforced. Okay, I would expect between 2 to 3 years, some so-called grace period, to be fully enforced. Yeah, I think I just compare the way when I was involved in the enforcement of the regulations last time, efficient management of energy regulation 2008. All right, It takes about 2 to 3 years to get everything in order before it can be fully enforced, at least. My video today, okay, I won't talk about the law because the law is not there yet. Okay, but I'm aware that now agencies that are, okay, that the agencies involved, or in particular agency that is involved in the enforcement of the act later, which is Energy Commission, has started to develop some guidelines, okay, guidelines related to the enforcement of the law of the new act. So I cannot really share the details, okay, because it's not right yet. But somehow I did talk to the personally to some of the officer, but it's no harm to share some general information. For example, what are the possible guidelines that will come together when the enforcement of the law that the act later, that whoever somehow has to comply to the act, right, has to follow accordingly. That exactly what I would like to share today, because for me, I hope that by sharing this, I hope all parties, I think we can expect who will be somehow affected by this regulation, just like in this existing regulations, the regulation on efficient management of electrical energy regulation 2008. The parties who are involved, basically the Energy Commission, okay, as the regulator, and then the energy users, okay, certain energy users with certain amount of energy being used, okay, they will have to comply to the regulation. For example, in the current regulation, if they use electrical energy more than 3 million kilowatt hour in 6 months total, okay, or they generate electrical energy for their own consumption more than 3 million kilowatt hour in 6 months total, they have to comply to the current regulation. So I would expect the same kind of approach will be enforced, will be implemented in the new act. We can expect all the large energy users, and this time around, including thermal energy users, not just electrical energy users. So we would expect large energy users, especially in the industrial sector, building sector, will have to comply to the new act later. Okay, so therefore, okay, it's good if preparation need to be done from now. Basically on how, basically I would anticipate this new act, they will cover not so much different in terms of what need to be what need to be done. Of course, they will look into the efficient use of energy. All right, they must, the whole idea of this act, okay, the new act, okay, basically is to ensure energy being used efficiently, either from management approaches, okay, management method, or even technological approach. So it must be both. Because energy management always cover management and technical solution. Okay, therefore, it's good, for the, potentially affected. Okay, I think we can expect that. I would say large energy users, especially the one that, of course, the one that currently now has to comply to existing law, we have to comply in the new act. That one can be assured, right? But of course, added with the users of thermal energy such as gas, fuel, MFO, LFO, and all that. Okay, so that's why I would like to share today, basically what we should expect. Okay, if you look at my screen here, okay, it was announced. Okay, it was announced. Okay, by the minister on 30th of November. Okay, this year, that the bill on adjacency and constitution to be tabled next year, means that 2022, by the minister. Okay, you see, look at the statement here. Okay, the bill, okay, on energy efficiency and consumption for a more comprehensive coordination and effective regulation by the Energy Commission to be tabled to the Dewan Rakyat next year. And then somehow the ministry not preparing the draft, of the bill, which would strengthen the legal framework related to energy efficiency and conservation to ensure a full involvement, at various level of institution and organization. So mean that we expect more requirement. I think we can expect more requirement. Okay, based on this, we should expect the whole idea at the end of the day, we should expect to achieve some target of savings, energy saving at the national level. The keyword here, look here, strengthen the legal framework related to energy efficiency conservation to ensure full involvement at various levels of institution. Because the current regulations, I would say, very vague. Okay, the requirement is very brief. Okay, therefore, I think this is what Energy Commission is doing now. They are drafting. So I think together with this act later, they will come also some regulation as well. Okay, and also same time there's some more details to do. Okay, through the guidelines. Therefore, okay, I was told Energy Commission is now preparing for these guidelines. Okay, these guidelines. This one is not a secret. This one is not. It can be shared. Okay, because this is for awareness purpose. So we would expect. All right, because the current regulation, okay, doesn't have any guidelines in terms of what exactly to do. For example, when it comes to efficient management of electrical energy now. Okay, the provision under Regulation 6 and 16, very brief. No further guideline on how exactly what exactly to be done. Okay, more on the minimum reporting requirement. But if you look here, for the new act, Energy Commission is preparing the guideline on first one, energy management system. Okay, so when we look at this word, I think okay, you can see this one, right? Guidelines on energy management system. So when they have a guideline on energy management system, I think you can assume, I think we cannot be wrong to assume that they expect, okay, the law would expect whoever affected by this law, by the new act later, they must have the energy management system at their organization or installation. You can expect that. That's why now Energy Commission is preparing the guidelines. If they want to have a management system, they should follow this guideline as prepared by the Energy Commission. Okay, so if you talk about energy management system, okay, I don't think we could expect anything totally 100% new, because energy management system, you go anywhere in the world, they are referring to the basically common concept, common approach. Basically based on typical management system approach, which will cover PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, and action cycle. Okay, where normally they refer. Again, if you refer to any guidelines or standard or best practice, okay, on energy management system in the world, all are about the same. Okay, and the most common reference globally now, we can safely say that, again, ISO 30001 global standard on energy management system for use. Okay, and then for ASEAN level, we have the ASEAN Energy Management Scheme. They call it Energy Management Gold Standard. I would say these two references are almost the same in terms of fundamental and key components. So that's why Energy Commission, now they are drafting this guideline on the system. So we should expect the new act will detail out much further about what exactly all the requirements that need to be fulfilled in complying to the new act later. So I think safely to say we can expect that they must have a policy, they must have the energy management team, they must have the energy planning, they have implementation of the system, they will have the performance evaluation, they will have the management review and all that. By having a proper or systematic energy management system or sustainable energy management system, okay, I don't think if you have started to do now, okay, whatever standard we are referring now, either ISO 2001, EMGS, or any other best practice, I don't think that will go even more too far from the guideline that will come out later. I have strong belief on that. Good, at least now we have the act, okay, and then later we have the regulation and we have the guidelines compared to existing one. Because existing one, why it's not being done? Because the current provision in the current law under Energy Supply Act 1990 doesn't have that prescription on that. That one thing. So we expect, okay. So if you start to have the energy management system in our facility now, and you know that you are large energy user, you know that you are now complying to the current regulation. Of course, you know, you have to follow the same thing. You have to comply the new act later. No doubt about that. Okay, so my suggestion, if you don't have any management system, develop now. That will make it easier during the transition process later. Anyway, if you are doing energy management in your organization now, if you develop and implementing a management system, okay, with or without the new act, you will get a benefit. That one is guaranteed, right? Okay. In fact, the whole idea for this new act basically for overall all parties involved to get the benefits. So by having the properly managed energy resources at the installation, you will have that. You get the benefit, especially to the owner of the installation or organizations. Okay, that's number one. So expect, okay, the guideline will be there will be a guideline on the energy management system. So my suggestion, start to have a proper energy management system at your installation or facility or organization now. And then the second guideline ST is developing now is the guideline on the adjacency and conservation reporting. Okay. All right. So I would expect this report more detail compared to current reporting. For example, current reporting just need to put the number of kilowatt hour saving and simple payback period. Okay, but I would expect be more information on the savings. So there'll be some standard or guidelines to be followed. You know, will be more to report and more information to be provided. That will enable the regulator later even to validate that report easier. Okay, but again, if you have a proper management system from the I mentioned earlier, this reporting, you know, will be much easier because a part of management system, you have to identify on how you can improve your energy performance, right? Your performance. So, of course, you need to have all the technical information and how you estimate the saving, and then how you verify the saving, how you quantify the saving, and all that. So, if you have all that fundamental, all basic requirement, okay, all the information available in your system to do this, you know, to do on the adjacency and condition reporting, it'll be much easier for you. All started with the proper management approach or systematic management for your energy resources. Okay, so means that there will be separate guideline on the adjacency, conservation, and reporting. So now, we have to start to do now if you know that you will be affected, especially if you are intensive energy users or large energy users. Okay, especially you are the one now, or it has to comply with the current regulation. Okay, number two, there'll be more information, technical information on the energy saving later in the report as a part of the reporting and the new act. That's why Energy Commission is now preparing the guideline for that. And then the last one, okay, there'll be a guideline on the energy audit. So what does it mean? Okay, so if there is a guideline on energy audit, I would anticipate there'll be a requirement to have energy audit as well. The only question now, how frequent? Is it every 2 years, 3 years? Will it be every 5 years? We don't know. Because some countries, they make it mandatory to have the energy audit conducted. Okay, and this energy audit must be performed by the qualified personnel by the regulator. For example, they must be conducted by the certified energy auditor, okay, who are certified by the regulator. Currently in Malaysia, we don't have any regulator certifying energy auditor. So by having, from here we know there's a guideline, so there'll be a requirement. Okay, I would expect that there'll be a requirement on the energy audit. The only question now, how frequent? How frequent? That's all we need to know. And then when it comes to energy reporting, again, if you have a proper energy management system, all this energy audit, actually, what's energy audit? Energy audit is a process or method to identify, okay, what's your current performance, okay, and then identify what are measures, can be implemented to improve the performance, or energy saving measures to be identified. Okay, that potential saving will be used, as a basis to set your energy management system target. So again, if you have the proper energy system from the top, this will be part of that process in the system. Now, what can you do about this? So if you know that now, you can start to look at, I don't think any commission will reinvent the wheel. So now, globally, we have standard for energy audit. Okay, we have the ISO 2002, okay, 2014, okay, about the requirement for energy audit, because it's a part of supporting standard for the ISO 2001 for the investment system. And then we also have the energy audit report format based on the ASHRAE. ASHRAE, okay, ASHRAE level 1, 2, or 3. Okay, some country adopting that ASHRAE reporting requirement. Okay, some countries not adopting the ISO 2002. Whatever it is, whichever standard you are referring, I don't think they will be far different compared to the guideline that, Energy Commission is now preparing. So now, okay, how are we going to, basically, what can you do to prepare for this act earlier? First, look into that kind of reporting standard, understand the requirement, and build the capacity who will be able to prepare such reports for the compliance purposes. And if you are the energy somehow service provider, energy auditor, okay, now is a good time for you to prepare yourself. So of course, subsequently there will be some kind of certification for energy auditor. Okay, they must qualify, and so you can also become the certified energy auditor. Okay. One more thing, I would expect as well, because the current regulation, they require the registered electrical engineer manager. So I would anticipate in the new act, later, there will be also a competent person such as energy managers. Maybe they call it registered energy manager. There may be different category because they will cover electrical and thermal energy, not just electrical energy. So there may be one or two type of energy manager with different qualification and requirement. Okay, and you must get certified. Okay, so I would expect the requirement to become energy manager in the new act will be much more detailed, much more to be prepared compared to the current requirement just to apply and then to go for interview. I would expect there be some kind of mandatory courses to be attended, all right, and then some kind of mandatory exam at the national level to be attended. Just the way how any commission now qualifying people as a chargeman, even for the electrical engineer or the services engineer and all that. So we have to get prepared for that. Okay, so if you look here, on the left side, these are 3 guidelines that ST is now developing, okay, for the preparation of the enforcement of the new act, Adjacency and Conservation Act for Malaysia, which will be tabled next year. On the right side here, or if you look at the right side here, it's more on the processes. Okay, more on processes on how to. You look here, I'm right. Okay, I forgot this one. Okay, so even ST is preparing now the guideline on the registration of energy manager and energy auditor. Right. So again, okay. So maybe there will be a competent person, or they call it as energy manager and energy auditor. So it means that's why you need to have that. So energy manager, the way I look at it, energy manager will assist in the form of number 1 and number 2, guideline on the system, and also the guideline on the consumption reporting. But energy auditor is the one that I would expect, the one that will be qualified, will be acknowledged, or be approved to conduct the audit, energy audit for the installation as prescribed frequency by the act or by the new act later. So there will be a requirement. There will be energy manager, there will be energy auditor. Currently, we don't have any energy auditor certified by the authority such as ST. And then another one, guideline on the labeling on the building sector. Okay, another one, guideline on the equipment labeling as well. Okay, I think my focus today more on the left side here. Guideline or requirement. Okay, requirement. Okay, we expect more legal requirement. Okay, based on these guidelines to be followed in the enforcement of the new act. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so that's exactly what I would like to share today. Basically, I just like to we have to take that proactive action where we can prepare ourselves now. Okay, whoever, if your installation to be affected, you should know what to do now to prepare for this. Okay, because at the end of the day, okay, if you start to manage your energy well now, let's say if you assume that you are now started to look into to have a proper energy management system, and then you need to have a proper information gathering on the energy efficiency and conservation, right? or what implemented, benefit is more on you as the installation owner or operators. Okay, all right. And if you are doing that, you don't have a problem at all later, all right, even to comply to this new act. All right, because the benefit that the first beneficiary of energy management system and energy efficiency measures at any energy user facilities is the energy user themselves. Okay, it's not the government. Okay, so you manage your energy now by having a proper system. Benefit will be on you. Now you can enjoy now, regardless of how soon the act will come. Because the good management practice, legal requirement is minimum requirement. Okay, so if you do it now, the benefit go to you directly. So get prepared. So that's all in this video. Okay, so the whole in short, all right, I'm sharing this one is for us to get prepared depending on who we are. For example, I'm as the industry player, as a service provider. So at least now I know what should I prepare myself, to equip myself, to prepare, okay, to help, you know. Of course, you know, I have to play some role because now I'm currently the registered ticket manager. Okay, so of course, you know, I will have some role to play in the new act. I can guarantee that. Okay, which role exactly? What kind of role? I have to wait until the act to be out lah. But somehow, of course, you know, for those engineer manager registered under current regulation, we have some kind of transition to be registered under the new act. I would anticipate that. So now I need, at least I know what to prepare as a service provider. Okay, basically I can prepare what to, you know, some kind of how we can assist companies to develop the system. Okay, and how can we work with my partners, right? You know, how to get, you know, a proper any saving measures, how to identify, how to put a proper reporting information and all that, how to proper verification and all that, and also how to prepare proper report for energy audit. If I want to, if I want to conduct energy audit services subsequently. Okay, so it's good to know, at least we can prepare this. Okay, but the detail, okay, will be out in the law coming. But I don't anticipate that much different compared to other law in other country. Okay, for example, if you look at Japan, right? Japan, they have the Energy Efficiency Promotion Conservation Act, all right? Conservation Act, the ECL, Energy Conservation Law in Japan. Okay, a part of that, you know, law, they call it Energy Conservation Law in Japan. They have the energy management system and energy management system standard under the law, under their law. And when I think I did some research, okay, I did some research. You know, the way I look at it, most of the requirement, okay, I read some research article in the research, okay, this paper I found, and then they compare between ISO, okay, and the energy management system standard in the Japanese law. I would say, okay, all items in that ISO 2001 2011 version are all in the Japanese law under their own energy system standard under the energy conservation law in Japan. In Japan, normally they are more detailed. Therefore, I can see even the requirement of the Japanese law and the energy conservation law are more detailed compared to even in the ISO 2001 standard. Okay, to the extent. Okay, when I compare other law as well, in other country, they have the energy system, energy management reporting requirement. They have the competent people such as energy manager, energy auditor, and all that. So it's almost the same. It won't be that much different. Okay, we are not inventing the wheel anyway. So with that, that's all. Okay, I want to share. So we can expect more legal requirement, okay, expected to be complied with, to be met with, you know, for the upcoming energy efficiency conservation law for Malaysia. And these are, okay, somehow the guidelines to be followed during the enforcement of the law. Okay, so with that, I hope the sharing useful for you, give you some idea. All right, and then we can prepare ourselves depending on what role we are now as the installation owner, as service provider, energy manager, energy auditor, or whatever. All right, so with that, okay, I hope this sharing is useful for you. And then we wait, okay, and then we see next year for the new act to be out, and then see how we can help, okay, to make the law work for the country. With that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera.